Now let us talk about chemical change. So we can say chemical change. See here the term chemical is used. So here chemical reaction will be involved. So we can say a change in which chemical reaction is involved. It's called physical change. Sorry, not physical. It is chemical change. So a change in which chemical reaction is involved is called chemical change. So here what you will observe is that here the properties of the substances after change is different from the properties of substances before change. Okay, so in chemical changes you will see that the properties of the substances after the change will be totally different from the properties before the change, and in this the chemical reaction is involved. Okay, you will find chemical. So in this chapter we are going to discuss all about chemical changes. Can you tell me some example of chemical change? There are many examples, like we can say burning of paper, right? So when you burn a paper like this, when you burn the paper, this will turn into ashes, right? See, when you burn a paper, there is a chemical reaction involved. Okay, when we burn something, oxygen is involved. Okay, with the help of oxygen only anything can be burned. Without oxygen, you cannot burn anything. So the pillar that oxygen doesn't go. Oxygen per reaction are going to see that burning process do go. So the pillar that natural for the pillar it can which we call ashes. Right. So if you observe carefully, you'll find that the property of these ashes is totally different from that of paper. Right. Paper pillar it is a solid. Right. Paper pillar it if you can take low by pillar so which is totally different from the paper. So the property of the substance after the change is totally different from the property of the substance before change. So other example we can say burning of coal, burning of paper, burning of coal, all these are chemical change. Yes, a fermentation. So fermentation, conversion of sugar into alcohol. That is fermentation. In class 8 also you learned what fermentation is, right? So fermentation is also a type of chemical change. We can say respiration. Respiration also a type of chemical change. Respiration. So respiration is the process by which our food that we eat is broken down with the help of oxygen, right? By the use of oxygen, food is the food that you eat is converted into energy. That process is called respiration, right? Or we can say cellular respiration. So in cellular respiration, what you will find is that the glucose, the food that we eat, you can say C6, H12, O6, react with oxygen, with the help of oxygen, it will convert into carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. Okay. So respiration also a type of chemical change. Then we can say photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is also a type of chemical change. We learned the equation of photosynthesis in class 8 also. Why? Because in photosynthesis also chemical reaction is involved. Here also respiration. In respiration also chemical reaction is involved. Now what is the definition of chemical change? A change in which a chemical reaction is involved is called chemical change. Since chemical reaction is involved in respiration, so respiration is also a type of chemical change. So there are many types of chemical change. Even digestion of food is chemical change. Okay. So these are some of the examples of chemical change. Please write it down.